we've talked a little bit about content for attracting the right type of customer, right? But now you've even got content for your customer success, right? Like now you're being exposed to content to help you be awesome in this meeting as we go through fulfillment together. And I mean, it's as simple as how to have a productive meeting, which, businesses are notorious for having terrible practices around, right? So it becomes a necessity. You also have, strict rules on showing up, on time, and you've beyond having the committee, making sure everybody's a part of every step and that committee not changing, having the training videos to prep them for the meeting so that they're in the right frame of mind and they know the rules before they walk into the room. What are do you have any other requirements as you go through a branding process to make sure that folks are open to making the decisions that are going to help them move the needle in their company?
Yeah, definitely. So one of the requirements is that they have to make a decision in the room, which sounds, but the longer they're exposed to sort of outside influence, the longer they're going to sort of attack the idea and come up with ways to sort of defeat it. And trust me, like there's never been a client on planet Earth that has done that. I have done to myself. When we present options, we run them through the scrubber left and right, and any question, this is why we want them to facilitate those discussions in the room with us. Anything they possibly could have thought of, we've already thought of it and we have an answer. They might say like, well, I'm worried about this, about that brand or whatever. We've already thought of it. We got an answer for it. We have a plan of attack. Whereas if they were to sort of go home and dwell on that in the car ride home for 45 minutes, they've already spent 45 minutes coming up with reasons not to move forward. Whereas we already had the answer. We already had the answer for you. Like, let's just go through it. Like, blast out any questions you have on it. So it sounds pretty unique, and to some people it sounds rushed, but it's not meant to sort of rush them in any way. It's meant to sort of make sure that any discussion they have around it, we're there to help coach them. They have access to us, some of the smartest minds in this industry. And, no ego attached to that. But honestly, like our job is to work really hard to be the best at what we do. And so they have access to us or across the table to ask those questions. They shouldn't be left to their own devices to just try to come up with the answer on their own. That does a disservice to them. It's my job to make sure that I'm available to answer everything for them. And the best way we can do that is if the entire brand committee can hear the question and then also hear the answer too. So making decisions in that meeting it's a must.
Yeah. Well, and I know leaving the meeting and being immersed back in their normal sphere of influence could potentially, be negative because that sphere of influence is negative, right? They've committed to accomplishing something, and they're branding or rebranding for a reason. They want to reach a certain group of people, so that they can help them, so that the business can be profitable. Have you ever had clients who were for whatever reason, even with all these things in place, having the brand committee, requiring the customer success videos go out beforehand to set expectations for the meeting, and then requiring decisions be made in the room, that with these things in place, still you felt like this person is going to come into this room still with this bias. We need to take it to the next level to help them be open to the idea that's really going to help them move in the direction deep down they really want to go.
Yeah, definitely. And so it's all about setting conditions, and this is true for sales general period. You're not just, you don't have something to say and just pick up the phone and try to say it to the sales prospect by any means. And same thing for when we're selling, work to clients that we've already sold. You really want to, as much as you can, control the conditions of the environment, period. So that can be for us, that's a marketing thing for us. When we design a customer experience for our client, let's say if it's a retail shop, we design and pick the music that's being played. We help set the temperature of the space itself. We help with the merchandising. We help with the aroma that's being piped into the retail space. First impression, all that stuff. We set the conditions so that we prime the customer's experience right from the beginning, and we do that for ourselves too. So when clients come, and we know that maybe perhaps there's like a level of anxiety. Let's say if it's a family-owned business and we know there's a lot of tension in the family, we work really hard to like know that ahead of time. We really set really great conditions around it. We might switch up the types of beverages that we serve upon arrival. So it might be, super early AM coffee, or it could be if it's midday and it's a really like loose group, we might serve beers or something like that. Or we have both cold brew, and we have always we have a custom cocktail on draft, both on draft, so we can serve those as well too. Anything to kind of just set them at ease for sure. Another thing that we do in terms of setting condition too is maybe Oz maybe about 3 to 4 minutes late to the meeting. That way they have a chance to sort of sit in the lobby and kind of just like meld together as a group in our space, start to feel a little bit more comfortable in here. Cheyenne, who's our director of business operations, she's typically their first impression when they walk in, and she's just all things hospitality. So really kind of setting all the conditions so that way we know how to design a custom experience for them coming in, so that way when we deliver the presentation, we've kind of stacked up a number of ways to sort of, help them relax the anxieties a little bit. We've really sort of made them feel super at home because we've, put down custom drinks for them, or even just like cool place cards at their seats around the table, adjusting temperatures if we know certain guests are colder or hotter, all that stuff. And just doing all those conditions, we can help create a level of sort of safe space for them,
Yeah.
or we can, if we need to amp it up a little bit to kind of give them a little bit of anxiety,
Yeah.
on their toes, maybe we drop that temperature just a little bit to kind of keep them sharp and alert and awake. There's a lot of stuff that we do to set up conditions so that way they're really super ready to sort of receive their information and the options that we're about to present them.
Very cool. Very cool. I know, I talk about this a lot where, through prospecting, through going out and trying to win somebody's attention and being, professionally persistent, right? You're in a lot of ways, you're showing people what it's like to work with you. If we make an agreement, I'm going to fulfill that agreement, whether or not you fulfill your end, right? People are busy. If they say follow up in a week, I'm going to ping them on that day at that time, right? Via email, phone, however, because I want them to know, you're important for me. I'm organized enough to execute the things I promise to execute. But this is a prime example of not just using it to win the business, but using it to guide the business and actually have the fulfillment. With some of your prospecting, I've seen some of your prospecting stuff. I mean, you're going after very specific accounts, so it's not a ton of high volume stuff, and you could spend a little more time trying to get in front of and winning the affection of some of these brands, custom videos, splash pages, what have you. And here you are doing it in the fulfillment as you're going through that discovery and decision-making process as part of the paid for branding service. So I think that's fantastic. Is there anything in account management, after somebody's decided to work with you, maybe they put down the first payment and now it's time to work together, that you think goes overlooked in a lot of organizations?
Yeah, definitely. You kind of